Hello, my brothers and sisters of public transit. I come before you today to talk about an attack on Phoenix's light rail system. It is not the first, and it shall certainly not be the last. But there is something special about this attack on mass transit in Phoenix, something that sets it apart from the rest. This is absolutely the worst attack on mass transit you will ever see. Not worst as in it'll cripple the system, but worst as in the person leading this attack is the laziest, dumbest legislator in America, so it was bound to go sideways at some point. Here, let me give you a little taste of how dumb the guy trying to attack Phoenix's light rail system is. This is him describing why light rail is bad. It takes a bit of a turn at the end.
Light rail has been described as a 20th century technology, not suitable for 21st century Phoenix or anywhere that for that matter. And that's because light rail is basically set into the ground and can't be moved to correspond with shifts in population. Environmentally, its initial material production and construction has massive negative environmental impacts compared with electric buses and trains, which have rather minimal impact and also greater flexibility.
Yes, that's right. We should skip light rail and go straight to electric trains, which I'm not sure what to say. Light rail is an electric train. It's got standard gauge, overhead electric, it goes on a track. Light rail is an electric train. There is no difference. We should probably not be surprised that the guy who keeps screaming trans women aren't women doesn't know that light rail is an electric train. But anyway, this is John Kavanaugh, the worst state legislator in America. And I could probably give you a million examples why, but let's just go with the most recent one. He bailed on a committee hearing to go do a radio show for an hour and didn't tell anyone. The committee was hearing a bill he wrote. Anyway, let's hear this particular bill he wrote to attack transit as read by the legislative staffer, who makes a face while adjusting the mic, and it's kind of funny.
Mr. Chair and members, Senate Bill 1332 requires ADOT to conduct a comprehensive feasibility review of light rail expansion in Maricopa County and to submit a report of the findings by December 31st, 2027. The bill outlines information that the review must contain, including capital and operating cost comparisons between a light rail and autonomous or semi-autonomous transit vehicles, long-term maintenance and replacement costs, and an analysis of whether continuation, modification, or discontinuation of state participation in light rail expansion is warranted. Lastly, the bill prohibits the state from providing state participation for any light rail construction project and repeals the outlined light rail prohibition and requirements on July 1st, 2028.
Okay, it's nothing we haven't heard before. Kavanaugh wants to do a study and delay all light rail construction until said time as study is complete, 2 years from now. Which, oh my god, how original, a moratorium on a transit project so a quote-unquote study can be conducted? I've never seen that before. That's new. Moving on, people who are in the know about transit probably heard something in that description and nearly had a stroke. Don't worry. We will get there shortly. But first, Kavanaugh had a small amendment he wanted to make to the bill in his infinite generosity.
Because Phoenix is going to continue their light rail program, although depending on where they go, they might not have any federal money, which could push this off like 10, 20 years. And that's one of the reasons why I had the amendment to remove the section that says the state shall not cooperate, because that's not really an issue.
Why, how kind of him. He's not going to take away any state funding from light rail in Phoenix. May I be the first to propose that at each light rail station a small likeness of him be erected, so the peasantry can give thanks to their lord for letting them have nice things. Oh, I suppose I've strung this out long enough. Valley Metro sent up a representative to address this bill, and in the first 30 seconds they established why Kavanaugh really took out the part about state funding out of the bill.
Chairman, members, Scott Smith from High Ground Public Affairs here on behalf of the City of Phoenix and Valley Metro. Both Valley Metro and the City of Phoenix oppose Senate Bill 1332, although we do want to thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, for your amendment removing the first part of the bill. Transit operations as a whole are a local issue. The state of Arizona does not contribute any money to local fixed bus routes, light rail, or paratransit operations in Maricopa County.
Oh my god, did Kavanaugh really think the state of Arizona contributed 1 little red cent to transit in Phoenix? How dumb do you have to be not to know that? Cities in red states do not aid public transit projects. It just doesn't happen. Imagine being this dumb. Kavanaugh legitimately thought the state was funding this light rail expansion. Republicans control the state. They hate mass transit. They're not funding anything. This is what happens when your brain is in a right-wing blender 24/7. You live on dumb assumptions like this. To correct Kavanaugh's misapprehension, the funding for Phoenix's light rail comes from Prop 104 in 2015, which was a small tax voters passed to fund transit in the city of Phoenix. No state funding required. A misapprehension of the funding for Phoenix's light rail is that it is not actually from the recently approved Prop 479, which was an extension of Prop 400, which was an extension of Prop 300 from 1985. No, the recently approved Prop 479 banned funds from that tax being used for light rail expansion, so only Prop 104 can be used to expand light rail in Phoenix. Got all that? Anyway, just the minorest bit of research could have prevented Kavanaugh from doing something stupid like introducing this bill. I will, however, say that it's not without value. Kavanaugh's bill provided a service of the highest order. Local NIMBYs followed him like a Pied Piper and organized and came up to the Capitol to give testimony on why light rail was bad. Unfortunately, they hadn't been clued in that the bill was now dead as a doornail and wouldn't be delaying shit. Which is how you get comments like this.
That is why the bill matters to us. Decisions like this should be based on solid research. The bill gives time to study real impacts, compare new transit options, and understand long-term effects before committing to one path.
Or this one.
SB 1332 ensures comprehensive review and real community input before irreversible commitments are made.
Kavanaugh led a cohort of NIMBYs down to the Capitol for his anti-light rail crusade, but didn't give them the courtesy of a heads up when the bill was dead. So they all thought this bill was going to stop light rail construction for 2 years, when in fact, he already knew it wouldn't do that. That's right, Kavanaugh, besides trying to screw over everyone in Phoenix, also screwed over the people who supported him. Which, I don't agree with these people, but they certainly deserve better than this. They certainly deserve better than a legislator who didn't care enough about them to let them know not to come because the whole raison d'etre had been blown up. That is so unbelievably shitty and disrespectful. I'm History Sock, and don't put your faith in politicians who treat you like garbage.